Welcome to Break the Stigma, where we will discuss stereotypes around the students, whether these stereotypes are true or not. For today's episode, we are having a guest star who is a student in English literature, where commonly English literature majors are often stereotyped as easy peasy squeezy filled by other majors. Not to belittle any party, but one of the goals of the Star Show is to voice the voices of those who are always looked down upon and misinterpreted and give us a broader viewpoint of something. This program is not just a puppet show for the host and guests, but for you, the happy viewers from the Break the Stigma. You can send a direct question regarding today's episode by sending a manifest to our official page. We will randomly select a question and discuss it. Our guest today is a student at Andalas University who is studying in English literature and preparing for her final semester. It looks like she's already at the waiting room. Hi, welcome to our show. How are you
Hello.
today?
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
You look
I feel really
gorgeous.
to be in this show. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So let me introduce you to Rauda, an ambitious and talented student in her current study as an English literature student. So how is it going? Is everything going well?
Actually, it depends on your definition of well. What well I was talking about right now.
That's how it is. So you say that now you are in 7th semester, right? Are there any plans to graduate in 3.5 years? I mean 3 whole years.
Yes, I'm preparing for my thesis right now. I have already decided what topic I'm going to discuss, but I don't know whether it will be approved or not. And if it takes 3.5 years to finish, I hope I will make.
So Rauda, this time we're going to talk about English literature. We want to know what English literature actually is. We will talk about the existing stereotypes, whether there are fakes or no.
Oh, of course.
So let's go straight to the first question. Isn't it true that English literature is an easy major and it only requires us to read novels and watch movies?
Oh my god, I think this is a common thought, right? Okay, I'll try to explain. Basically, none of the majors are easy. Yes, all of them have their own challenges and uniqueness. So if someone says majoring A is easy, majoring B is easy, of course, that is the wrong thing. And regarding the English literature itself, which is often labeled as a major that only requires us to watch movies and read novels, it doesn't seem quite right because majoring in English literature is more than just that.
Oh yeah? Can you explain it more, please?
Sure. So English literature, like any other study program, has its own concentration, which is chosen in the middle of the study, like in the 4th or 5th semester. Depends on the university you go. English literature consists of two concentrations. Like the first is the literature, and the second one is the linguistics. Literature is related to the literary words and everything related to them, which will then be analyzed using a certain approach. As for linguistics itself, you may be more familiar with the term grammar. This concerns grammar and matters related to it.
So it turns out that English literature is interesting, right? Not just about watching movies and reading novels.
Yes, that's right.
And next, regarding the stereotypes that says to be an English literature student, you have to be fluent in English. Is that correct or not?
So it's like this. When we go to college, we study, right?
Yeah.
There's a teaching and learning process going on there. So to become an English teacher, it's not a mandatory to be fluent to speak English first, because later everything will be taught again from the beginning about the basics of speaking English in the early of the semesters of lectures. For me, where I study, there are subjects for beginners like an introduction to listening, speaking, reading, writing, and linguistics. Then also there's also introduction to literature. So indeed, everything is discussed from the start. Indeed, taught from the introduction. However, of course, we must have basic knowledge of English, such as being able to say daily expressions. So you don't want to later to be left out in the class. You can take a tutoring program so you don't miss out in the course.
So it's like that, guys. If you already master English, then you don't need to study English no more. Like people say, it's all about mindset.
That's right.
Okay, next. Besides being told that you have to be fluent in English before becoming an English literature student, it is also considered that English literature students are definitely fluent speaking English.
No, that's not true. Yes, this is related to the previous statement. I often experience this too actually. For example, I was asked by my relative when I was having a family event, like they say, what major are you taking in the college? Then I answer, oh, I've been taking English literature. Oh, you must be fluent in English, right? Or for example, we also often label as walking dictionaries. Like my friend asked me what meaning of something that in English, and what's worse is if you don't know, we will be underestimated. Like they say, what a shame! How could be an English literature student like you don't have a clue about it? That's so annoying, actually.
Yeah, it's like, so it's as if we didn't study right in college, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We are in the class using English. Informal interactions between the and the students also use English. But of course, students whose status is still studying do not master English like the fluent lecturer or the native self.
Oh, it's such a native, right? So it's not quite right just because we are students of English literature doesn't mean we can speak English fluently. It's the same
Yes,
for us. If we study medicine, it's not certain that we can immediately become a doctor.
yes, you're right.
Regarding to the next questions, many of them say that English literature majors are required to work abroad or at least like minister or ambassadors of countries in other countries. Is it that mandatory for English literature students to fulfill these stereotypes?
In short, yes, commonly everyone wants to work abroad, but majoring in English literature does not mean that we have to work abroad. As with other majors, English literature is a flexible study where they can be placed anywhere because their ability to understand culture is more expert than other people. The ability to speak English is the main foundation that is needed by almost all types of companies today. If we have the soft skill that supports us, we can go anywhere we want, actually. So you don't have to go abroad. Our country also needs quality human resources, of course.
Yeah, okay. As for the next question, is it true that all English literature students majors are open-minded? Like they are using Twitter, tweeting something like an SGW and blah 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 blah. Is it true or no?
Actually, I'm not that open-minded. Like the open-minded people think is negative. For example, I'm sorry, I often heard someone say that students of English literature must be pro LGBTQ, and some of them state that the English literature students are too much Western. The fact that we are not taking a stand, but it is just we are open to talk about these issues. There are courses that we are indeed discussed, like the issue of the LGBTQ, gender issues, capitalism, psychology, and even environmental issue. So those who talk about English literature students are westernized. That's correct because we learn about the Western culture itself. For example, uh, when we are in the college, like in my university I go to, we are discuss about American, Australian, and British culture and so on. So it's discussed not only the culture but moreover to the education system, social politics, and also financial status.
It sounds really complete, or maybe it's complicated. Not about speaking English, but also exploring the culture where the language is born.
Yes, that's for sure.
Okay, back to the subject of college assignment. Usually, what you observe is some kind of novel or film like. Are the assignment is only limited to the paper, or is there some kind of field practice?
So the test of English students is not limited to the reading or watching or saying. English literature assignments are not just limited to papers. They also have field assignments such as performance of drama, poetry, and singing, analyzing the use of language in daily life. We are analyzing the patterns of sentence structure and even analyzing the speech of people. I once read an alumni thesis that talk about the Obama speech as a research material for his thesis. Apart from providing comments and reviews, we are also required to conduct literary criticism from various perspectives. Like this, there is one novel. In one novel, we can examine many things. Its scope is not the only limit to the morals or themes contained in the novel. However, we can analyze it from many various perspectives, such as feminist, Marxist, analytical psychology, post-colonial, eco-criticism, and so on. So even for novels indicating LGBTQ issues and other crucial issues, there are studies that analyze it, namely race and gender.
So this English literature department is really underrated. It's a
Yes.
very inclusive department, you guys. And everything that has been explained by Rauda is earlier is still a bit of information about English literature. Not all of it. That's why we are here giving all of you the opportunity to ask Rauda about English literature. Question can be sent at the address below. Okay, there are two questions. We will choose random question from two senders. Okay, we have one from anonymous 1234. The question is, Rauda, do you think studying English literature is a regret or a blessing for you?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Let me answer. Frankly speaking, studying this literature was originally not on my number one wish list. I used to have regrets and had intended to stop. However, after doing it, it turns out that English literature is an interesting major, and that I'm passionate in this field. So that's why I dare say that I'm a student of English literature is a blessing for me.
So you didn't intend to be an English literature at first, did you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A compulsion which later become a basic or something like that.
Take it as a lesson, guys. That not everything we want is the better for us, is the best for us. The important thing is that we sincerely do it and the process will be much easier. Okay? Second and the last question from Dude123. Please share your tips to survive studying English literature.
Okay, with pleasure. So, for you guys who are studying this literature or who are planning to study English literature, I would like to give advice if you feel that your English is below average and you don't want to be left behind your friends in the class later. I suggest that you should put more effort into learning, such as by joining an English tutoring program or by studying self-taught at home more diligently. Besides that, I also suggest staying up to date with the latest news developments such as sociocultural issues that exist in the local international communities. And by staying up to date, it will make it easier for you to undergo lectures later. Perhaps that's all for me.
Wow, that was very insightful, Rhoda. Take note, all my friends.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are at the end of the show, Rhoda. Thank you for sharing about how the life of English literature students is. I hope it can inspire and open up all of our views about English literature and eradicate stereotypes that are disparaging and tend to have a bad effect on students of English literature. Thank you everyone for watching our show today, and also thank you for our special guest, Rauda. That's all for today's episode. Thank you and see you in the next episode of Break the Stigma. Bye bye.